Hello everyone, welcome back to the Token Minds training series. Today we are going to talk about standardized smart contracts and why standardization is becoming the foundation for safer, more governable blockchain systems in financial applications. The session focuses on two outcomes. The first is how organizations can reduce smart contract risk at scale by moving away from one-off audits and toward repeatable execution patterns. The second is how security becomes measurable when contracts follow defined standards that can be scanned, scored, and approved automatically. So, standardized smart contracts are built on repeatable execution patterns across different runtimes, including EVM, WASM environments, and move based languages. Instead of writing new logic for every deployment, institutions rely on defined templates and constrained behavior. So this shifts security from something checked after deployment to something designed in before the contract ever goes live. The core problem is that audits alone are not enough. Audits find bugs, but they do not create comparability, predictability, or repeatability across contracts. So what's missing is a way to standardize execution services so risk can be measured consistently before code ever runs. Custom contracts create structural risk because every contract introduces unique logic paths that cannot be easily compared or governed. Even when two contracts serve the same business purpose, they create different risk profiles. Over time, this leads to ungovernable exposure, where smart contract risk can no longer be treated like any other operational risk. So, this slide introduces the framework for turning smart contracts into managed financial instruments. The first step is defining standard contract patterns for common financial use cases such as payments, custody, and settlement. The second step is locking down execution environments, whether through approved EVM templates, WASM models, or move packages, so contracts cannot introduce uncontrolled behavior. The third step is creating a central registry of approved code, where every contract version is fingerprinted by bytecode and metadata. The fourth step is running automated risk checks, including static analytics and execution path validation before deployment. The final step is deployment gating, where only contracts that pass policy thresholds are allowed into production. The result is that deployment becomes a governed workflow, not an ad hoc engineering decisions. Standardization changes how contracts are written and executed in practice. So the first change is in control flow, where arbitrary branching is replaced with predefined execution path inside template-based state machines. The second change is in state mutation, where ad hoc storage writes are replaced by whitelisted transitions handled by canonical logic. The third change is in external interaction, where unrestricted calls and delegate calls are removed or tightly bounded. The final change is in error handling, where values follow deterministic rules instead of developer-defined fallbacks. So these steps reduce reentrancy risk, eliminate hidden side effects, and make contract behavior predictable across deployments. So this slide continues to shift in how code is structured under standardization. Once upgradability and permissions are centralized, the next change is simplifying execution itself. Business logic is reduced to a small set of approved patterns, external calls are minimized, and dynamic behavior is removed. As a result, contracts stop behaving like flexible applications and start behaving like controlled financial instruments, where execution paths are predictable and security assumptions remain stable over time. So this framework removes variability at the execution layer. The first step is compiling contracts from canonical solidity templates that restrict available opcodes and execution paths. The second step is regenerating a bytecode fingerprint, including opcode distribution and call graph structure. The third step is matching that fingerprint against an approved allow list of non-safe patterns. So the fourth step is automated enforcements, where any deviation block deployment. So the final step is continuous monitoring, where redeployments and re-verify to ensure execution behavior remains identical over time. If you choose WASM or WASM environments introduce bounded and variable execution, the first step is running contracts inside a sandbox runtime with strict memory and CPU limits. The second step is restricting system calls to a small set of approved host APIs. The third step is applying formal verification, where critical logic is mathematically proven before deployment. And fourth step is runtime enforcement, where any attempt to exceed the resource or permission limit is rejected automatically. So these types ensure that execution remains deterministic and immune to common smart contract exploit patterns. If you choose to use move-based languages, it embeds financial safety directly into the language design. So the first step is modeling assets as resources. It cannot be copied or destroyed accidentally. The second step is using the type system to enforce explicit ownership and transfer rules at compile time. Third step is applying the bytecode verifier, which checks invariance before any transaction executes. And the fourth step is runtime validation, where transactions that violate safety rules are rejected automatically. So these steps eliminate entire categories of bugs related to double spending, unauthorized transfers, and state corruption. This framework also works if you choose to do so, so by removing custom contract rates entirely. So the first step is implementing token and asset logic directly in protocol runtime instead of user contracts. The second step is enforcing rules through native handles that execute as part of consensus. The third step is eliminating delegate calls, proxies, and dynamic code loading, which remove upgrade and injection rates. And the fourth step is governing changes at the protocol level, where updates follow formal network upgrade procedures instead of ad hoc deployments. The result is a finite version execution service where security is structural rather than procedural. Standardization turns contract security into a measurable control. Automated scanning analyzes bytecode and syntax trees against proof execution patterns. Deterministic rare scoring evaluates call graph complexity, permission surfaces, and upgradability. And CI/CD pipelines enforce policy thresholds before deployment, and contracts are continuously re-evaluated as standards and threat models evolve. So, real-world use cases show that standardization already works in production. Even finance uses ERC for 626 compliance and strategy templates, so audits happen once and scale many times. AAV applies standardized vault interfaces and permit functions to support institutional workflows. So these examples show that standardization reduces fragmentation and enables ecosystem-wide risk management. The outlook is clear. Risk shifts from developer choice to institutional governance. Standardization becomes the default for financial smart contracts. Security scales from managing individual contracts to managing contract portfolios. So token mines support this transition by helping institutions select execution environments, define approved patterns, and embed automated risk control so smart contract risk remains measurable, governable, and auditable. So thank you for watching. If you are ready to move from bespoke smart contracts to standardized production-grade financial architectures, reach out to Token Minds. We'd love to help you design safer, more governable blockchain systems that scale with confidence.